Hello, everyone. A deputy director reportedly posted in the Ministry of Women's Welfare and Child Development, his name being Premode Kaka, his wife Seema Rani, have been arrested by the North Delhi police. Why were they arrested? Premode Kaka raped and impregnated a 14-year-old girl who was entrusted to his custody by her mother. And her mother did that after her husband was killed in an accident. Apparently, the deceased man, that the girl's father, was a friend of Premode Kaka, and therefore it makes some sense, some weird sense, that this arrangement was worked out. Something that puzzles me, confuses me is, if the father of this raped and violated girl was Premode Kaka's friend, then he could not have been a destitute man. He must have been a person of some substance. We do not know. Nothing has been reported about his financial status. Therefore, why his wife, that's the girl's mother, had to entrust her daughter, a teenage daughter, to Premode Kaka and his wife is something that I cannot figure out. However, that is not a major concern at this point in time. Now, this man took advantage of the girl's helplessness, violated her, she became pregnant, and his wife, being the dutiful wife that she is, in order to save her husband, she gave abortion pills to the girl and averted the catastrophe for the time being. But the victim of this atrocity, as is only to be expected, began to succumb to panic attacks. And during one of the panic attacks, the latest in the series, she was admitted to a hospital in North Delhi. I don't mind revealing the name of the hospital. I think it is St. Stephen's Hospital, with which I had much to do. And there, the doctor who was attending to her had the good sense to report to the police. This happened about a week ago. An FIR was lodged. But somehow action on this front, if anything happened rather slowly. So today, this morning, one of the English channels, India Today, got wind of it and immediately saw a gold mine in this episode. And it went hammer and tong after it. And it sort of established its monopoly in covering the event. I've been watching India Today for a long period of time. An excessive amount of my time was wasted in front of the idiot's box. And every 5 minutes, the anchor of India Today or the anchors of India Today would say that this is an India Today impact. But for this, nothing would have happened. So it is like you're organizing a dinner and not allowing anybody else other than your own people to participate in it. It's a media dinner. It's most revolting. Now, in the meanwhile, politics has started. The media as a whole is trying to give to this event, this most horrific event, the most inhuman twist. Now, in order to understand that twist, I have to provide you the basic information. That as per the existing state of affairs, the Delhi government has no control over its babus. The Delhi government has no control over the police in Delhi. Both of them report directly to the central government. So actually the blame, if any, should rest with those who appointed this person. And if there is delay on the part of the police, the Lieutenant Governor in Delhi and the Home Ministry should be directly responsible, but not a word is said about it. The entire blame is put on Arvind Kejriwal. I have nothing to do with Arvind Kejriwal. I'm not an Aam Aadmi Party man. I don't belong to any party. But when I notice these things, I wonder what's happening to our country. So any crime is weaponized. It is used as a political weapon. And the truth in the process becomes a casualty. And the public is deliberately misled into all kinds of stupid notions. Now, for example, the reporters of this channel and a couple of other channels as well tried in the early stages of their reporting to put the blame entirely on Atishi, who is currently the minister in charge of the women and child welfare portfolio in the Aam Aadmi government in Delhi. But to their disappointment, it was found out that this man had never worked with Atishi as an OSD. So suddenly the twist had to be remodified, and now the blame is being shifted to Swati Maliwal, who is the chairperson of the Delhi Commission for Women. I don't understand how Swati Maliwal is directly answerable for this, because a commission, I have worked with a commission under Delhi government. I was the founding member of the Minorities Commission of Delhi government. A commission is autonomous. A commission does not work as per directives of the government. The government has no right to direct a commission. Secondly, the limitation of a commission is that it cannot take suo motu cognizance of a crime. The commission can act only on the basis of a complaint filed with the commission. It is nobody's case that a complaint in this regard was filed with the Delhi Commission for Women. I'm not saying this in order to protect anyone. I'm simply facing the facts that I know before you. And therefore, and the third important thing that you must remember is that once the police takes cognizance of a case, no commission can interfere. That's a law of the land. So a police FIR was registered a week ago. The matter was brought to the notice of the public and therefore of the commission only this morning, and the entire blame is sought to be put at the doorstep of Swati Maliwal, not even the commission. Swati Maliwal. In the meanwhile, the most interesting thing is there is a lady called Rekha Agarwal. Who is she? She is the chairperson of the National Commission for Women. Manipur has been burning, women have been paraded naked, raped, and so on and so forth. She had nothing to say. But suddenly she jumps into the fray and is, trying to damn the Delhi government, which really has no powers to handle this matter. So, my dear friends, the real tragedy of this country is this. In all of this, I have given you only a small narrative, but there are other aspects, very juicy aspects, but then I don't want to confuse the issue. In all of this, if you notice, that the plight of the victim is forgotten. The victim is forgotten. The victim doesn't exist. All that matters now is how to find scapegoats, how to use this as a political weapon. And this, I believe, and this is my conviction, this is morally a worse offense than the rape itself. I know when I say this, many people will bark at me. I'm not saying that the rape is justifiable. I'm convinced that the rapist will spend 20 years in prison as he deserves. I'm sure his wife, who is complicit in this crime, will also pay dearly for it. I'm all for it. I have no problem. But morally, that's the legal side. Morally, those who try to turn the suffering of others into their capital, into their profit, as far as the channels are concerned, to increase their TRP ratings, and also to curry favors with a particular government or a party or whatever, by hitting a blow or two on their behalf, these people are downright immoral, though they appear to you, and they appear before you as the custodians of the morality of India. The media is doing enormous harm to the moral fabric of India, to the political sanity of India, to the sense of fellow humanity that we should hold dear to us. The media is today working as a source of infection to the body politic of the country. I have no hesitation in saying this. Now, if you follow up on these events, you will see clearly that what I am saying is the right thing. And what is it, and this is the main thing I want to submit to your consideration, what is it that enables the media to play this kind of a roguish role? It is the problem of distance. The media thrives on account of the distance between you and the particular episode which is reported. Because the episode is far away from you, you are in no position to gather the factual matrix or factual details of the event, and you're ignorant about it, and therefore the media is now totally free to dump on you all kinds of contorted, twisted information under the pretext of reporting the truth. So I make a mention of this in order to highlight the very serious responsibility that responsible citizens of India have in being alert, aware of the sinister role that the mainland media is playing. And this is a tragedy for Indian democracy because, after all, the fourth estate is considered to be a sentinel of democracy. And that part is completely forgotten, and the media has forgotten its dharma, and it is running after chanda income, and it's a dark day. So even as we weep over the plight of this teenage girl who was systematically violated by the man who was supposed to protect her, the daughter of his deceased friend, we must also lament what has happened to the Indian media, the utter immorality that is showcased as moral righteousness and showcased to the whole world. I am fairly convinced that there is a synergy between this moral depravity, which then from the media spreads to the society as a whole, and the depravity of this individual. After all, the individual is a member of the society. I'm not justifying what he has done. It is perverse, it is unthinkable, it is abhorrent. It's a kind of thing that makes you vomit when you think of what he has done. But he belongs to a society in the end. You read any book on crime, any book, I challenge you. You read any book on crime, and responsible thinkers on crime always insist that the social dimension of crime should never be forgotten. The society is turned into a moral jungle, and then you expect individuals to behave in a fashion. Just as we say a sound mind in a sound body, we also have to say a sound individual in a sound society. Is it anyone's argument that our society is healthy, morally sound? I'm afraid that's not the case. So, this event, in my opinion, this horrific event, this unthinkable event, must wake us up out of our stupor and think as to where we are headed. This is an alarming instance of the extreme moral degradation and depravity that has befallen our country, our society. Now, in this context, let's not forget Franco Mullakkal, who reportedly raped a nun under his jurisdiction for 13 times. And when the matter came to light, those who defended the bishop's action said, why did the victim enjoy it for 12 times? In the same manner, there would be people to say, why didn't this girl report this the moment it happened to her? She would have enjoyed it. Now, this kind of perversity is even more reprehensible, I say, than the act itself. So the society actually experiences a sense of affinity with the predator. This is the point I want to submit to your consideration. The society experiences a deep sense of affinity in a hidden, apologetic manner, a lurking affinity with the predator. I can offer psychological explanations for it, but there's not the time for it. Whereas the society will try to re-victimize the victim. The victim will be victimized again and again. And I close this video by expressing my appreciation for the doctor in St. Stephen's Hospital who had the sense of responsibility to report the matter to the police. But at the same time, I have to put on record my disappointment that the Delhi police dragged its feet for a whole week. The man should have been arrested then and there. The matter is so serious to warrant immediate arrest and investigation. And as India Today claimed repeatedly today, it had to break the news to the public and generate a whole world of compulsion for the Delhi police to act. What do you think of that particular aspect of the story? So, unless and until, now, the case of the Franco-Mulatto story in Kerala, the nuns, the fellow nuns of the violated nun, had to come out in the open and launch a massive struggle which began to gather public sympathy incrementally, and then the police very reluctantly arrested the accused. So everywhere we see the same pattern. So we have to understand these episodes with a kind of objectivity, balance of mind that it deserves. Unfortunately, that is not obtained. People are becoming increasingly partisan. Every event is seen only in terms of who the culprit is. If the culprit is of my party or my community, my religion, my village, then I'll support him. Let the victim be damned. If the culprit belongs to the opposite party, I'll pay for his blood. My dear friends, this is not moral sense. This is no sense of justice in it. This is nothing but weaponization of crimes and corruption of justice. We have to rise above all these things and consider the administration of justice as a sacred process. As a Christian thinker, I believe that justice is God's portfolio, and those who take upon themselves the duty to administer justice to people are accountable to God. And everyone who is involved in this vast network of the justice administration system are accountable to God. And the whole chain today is in deep disarray. And that's terrible news for every citizen. Everyone will be affected by this. If you have any common sense left with you, you have to do all you can to make sure that the integrity, the inviolability of the legal judicial process, ensuring justice to all victims, is kept intact and above party politics, communal considerations, the rich and poor divide, so on and so forth. So in this episode, above all else, I see a wake-up call to the citizens of India to realize that the entire justice delivery system in this country is in real disarray, and that this has to become a very major electoral issue. I have not seen a single party raising this issue in recent times. That's the reason why I'm drawing your attention to it. I hope you will give due consideration to the concern I've shared with you. Thank you.